Thank you, Scott.
Thank you. When you read that, I said, "Who is that guy?"
I saw
I
you
didn't
looking
know it was
around.
me.
Yeah, we know you're busy, so I didn't put your name in there just in case it didn't happen. There's two things we have here, Scott. We have you talking to the audience through this microphone, and we just have you speaking. You can just leave it there or put it on, whatever. Those are for our friends online.
Great.
So
Thank you.
And you can see that's what we're broadcasting online right there.
Great. Looks good.
Okay, so Joe and I have a few questions. You want me to kick them off, Joe?
Go for it.
All right. So the question I have for you to start off, very difficult one. You probably answered this many times, but you deal with 30,000 plus folks across multiple nations, across coast to coast. How do you do all that as a CEO?
I actually love it. It helps if you like people. And it really energizes me when I'm able to be out and meet with people at the chapters or even at public works agencies. But we also interact with private entities as well. So it's both public and private. So really to have a broad frame of reference to meet with engineering firms and as well as public works agencies.
Yeah, thank you for that. A couple of kind of advocacy questions. We know you do a great job in DC and other places to advocate.
You can hold this too.
Yeah, go ahead if you like.
Cool.
From your perspective, what's the biggest misconception that the general public has about public works professionals?
From an advocacy standpoint.
Just as you're trying to advocate to the public to have some empathy for what happens with public works.
Yeah. Starting point is, as I spoke about at our opening here at PWX, nobody knows who you are. And it's definitely not an insult. It's actually a compliment because if everything works the way it should, nobody knows you're there. And so I've always felt strongly that it's my responsibility, it's the responsibility of a PWA to truly speak on your behalf, whether it's in Congress, whether it's to the public. And I would also say, though, that we can speak on your behalf, but we also need your stories. Like we're not the experts, you are. So we constantly are encouraging people to provide us with real life stories.
That's great. Thank you very much. Two more questions for you. I know you're a busy person. You did give some advice there, but what other advice might you give to local leaders starting out in the industry to try to be successful in public works throughout their career?
That's a great question. So one of the things I'm often asked is, who are these people? And there's not one common strain of how you become a public works director. I've met English majors, not engineers. I've met public administration as one route as well. And so every city and every state has their own laws and ordinances about what's required to serve in that role. But someone who's well-rounded, someone who's a people person, and in those roles, you're interacting with elected leaders and the public as well, and then if you manage staff. So you're trying to navigate elected leaders, the public, and staff as well. And so someone who has, and this is often thrown around a lot, someone who has a high EQ, somebody who truly has emotional intelligence will be a great start. And then I think you can learn the rest. I don't build bridges though, because I'm not an engineer, so I'm not going to try to.
Thank you for that. One more question from us, because we know you're busy, then we're happy to hear anything else you want to mention. You've led the agency through a number of different things, right? The pandemic, we've had to move venues for PWX, you're moving offices. What legacy do you hope to leave for I know you'll be working with us for another 30 years, but after that, what do you hope your legacy will be for?
Well, that's a great question. You're right. There have been lots of hurdles. I often speak about leadership, and I think what is important is that when you're confronted with real crisis, how do you rise up? How do you lead? And I think it is important to be calm, steady, and try to figure out things, and also admit when you don't have an answer, because especially around COVID, nobody had ever actually experienced that. And so to navigate through that. As far as leaving a legacy, I'd say I'm not necessarily as concerned about how many members we have, but I think we should have hundreds of thousands because we're so proud of what we offer. And I hope before I leave, we grow the organization exponentially just so that we can share all of our great products and services.
That's great. Appreciate that. We know you're busy. Anything else you want to mention before we let you get back to the rest of your day?
I like this session a lot, and we've had one as well.
Yeah.
And I think we at PWA experiment with all kinds of mediums of communicating. And I was having a discussion earlier about our website, and not everybody digests information the same way. So I think it's extremely important to have podcasts and written work and websites and social media platforms so that we're able to reach people where they are. So I appreciate you having this session.
Thanks so much
Okay.
for being here, Scott. Appreciate it.
All right, give it up for Scott.